Hi and welcome back. In today's lesson, we are going to talk about the arrays. So array is a data structure that stores multiple values of the same data type under one single variable name. Each value in the array is called an element, and elements are accessed using the index or position. So let me give you this example. Look at this one here. So I have an array here created, grades equal to, and with square bracket open, I have multiple values inside. So this is an array called grades, and it has multiple values. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values inside this array, and you close the array by having one closed square bracket. So this is how the arrays are created. So it's a array of the numbers, it's array of the strings, array of the characters, but it must be all of these values that we have here, they should be in the same type. So you can have a number here, but all of them should be number, or you cannot have there is no way that you can mix them together. So you cannot have a number and have a string or have a character in the array. So all of them should be in the same. So you can have all of them as a number, or all of them as characters, or all of them as a string, all the values in the array. And each of these cells of the array, so this is another array that we are showing here, it has all of these little cells that's starting from 11, 9. So these are the values, the information that we have stored inside these cells of the array. So, and each of them, they have one index or position. Okay, so the array, the first position of the array starts from 0. Always remember that in the arrays, the starting position, it starts from 0. Start from 0 and it goes sequentially up onto the last item of the array. So so this one, the position number 0 is holding number 11. The position number 5 is holding 90. The position number 1 is holding 9. The first item of this array, is 11, but the index position of the first item is 0. So we need to make sure that we totally understand what is the difference between the position and the number, the first or second or third element of the array. So always the first or second or third element of the array is one item in plus the index number. So for example, the index number of the first item is 0, but it is the first item of the array. So this is the array of the numbers. Look at this one here. This one is an array of the characters. So the first item of the array is holding character C. The second one is holding H. Second position number 2 or the third item is having A, and vice versa, it goes up. And we can have an array of words, we can have array images, array of numbers, and go on. Look at this part, this black part here I have on the screen. So I have this array of the grades created here with all of these values. Now to access the elements, each of these elements, you need to put inside the square bracket the index number of the one that you are accessing. So in the first line here, this line, I have created this array and I have filled it up with these 5 numbers. Okay, so it is already filled up with these numbers. Now in here I'm printing grades, then inside the square bracket 0. So the first item of the array, and it will print out 85 over here. This one print grades 3. This is the fourth element of the array. So this is the element 0, this is element 1, this is element 2, this is element 3. So the fourth item, or the item element number 3. So it will be printing 92. If you want to change a value, so you just need to, just very simple, the way which we are constantly using it with the variables. So arrays also are variables. So to change a specific position, so here we are changing the grades 2. So grades 2 is which one? This is 0, this is 1, this is 2. So currently it is holding 78. So here we are changing the 78 to 80. So we are writing inside this position of this array of the grades, and we are changing it with the 80. So this change is third element to 80. Now if you want to print the entire array, you can use print grays, or you can create also a loop over the array to print all the items of the array. To create an array in the exam language, in the OCR language, you can use this syntax. You can use array space the name of the variable, then inside square bracket a number. So if you want to have five place array, you will use it, you know, with this command array myArray5. Let's go to our code station and let's do a couple of examples to understand how the array works. All right, so let's create an array of we call it my_array, and 5 positions, and let's fill it up with some data. So my array, I'm going to make it as, so I will open the square bracket, 10, 20, 30, 0, 40, and 900. So that is 5 numbers inside it, right? Now, if I print the first item of my array 0, so this should print me 10. You see, this is the first item of my array. If I try to print my last item of the array, so if I say my array 4, right, because this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this should give me the 900, right? Now I want to change the value of this 41, the 1, 2, 3, and 4th item, right? So I'm going to change that. So I will say my array, the position 0, 1, 2, and 3. So position 3, I'm going to change it to 500. And I will print that also my array, what? The third. So now this one, instead of printing 40, it should print me 500, which is correct. If you want to print the whole array, you can use a shortcut thingy, like print just my array without anything, and it will print you all the data of that particular array that we have. So this is the basic, you know, operation and working with arrays. And this is the array of the numbers, so you can do some arithmetic operation. I can change this to all strings, so but I have to make all of them as strings, and this one also, it must become a string, and it will do the same thing, right? But you may notice that now here you see all of this digit data that is being printed, they are all in codes. So it means that, you know, this data I have here, they are actually strings. Before that, it was just showing it as a number, so without any single quote or double quote. So this is how you operate the arrays in a very basic situation if you define them. Also in the modern languages, you don't need to define the number of the position of the array. So sometimes, you know, you may need to have a you don't know how many items you're going to put inside the array, right? So you might be able to create your array like this without anything, and this is also, you know, it works in these situations. One very important thing we have, you remember during the strings, we had something called length. So we have the similar thing also in the arrays. So if I call the array, so my array dot length, if I print that, this will give me 5. So it is telling me that you have 5 items in your array. This is very important. We are going to use this, the length of the array, a lot in the next couple of examples that we are going to use. And so if I add another item to my array, let's make it 6 items, or just remove that, and I will put another 762, and now it is changed to 6 items. So this is the length of the array. Okay. All right, so this is the basic, just to make you understand what is the array. So array is a single variable name, and it has multiple small little positions that you can put different data inside it. But the data that we are putting inside the array, it must be all having the same data type. It must be either number, integers, or floats, or strings, or characters. They all must be the same. You cannot mix them together. All right, so let's go back to our lesson, and we go into some real use cases and the type of the questions that we need to answer using the arrays. All right, so this was about the arrays. All right, now to read and check the values of the array, normally we'll use a loop. Okay, so for example, to print all the numbers of a list, so if you don't want to use that print the whole thing, you can use a loop to go over all the number of the arrays, and you create a for loop. So we use for loops starting from 0, because the position of the array starts from 0, to the length of the array, minus 1. Why minus 1? Because remember, the length of the array, whatever it is, because we are starting from 0, we have to reduce one item from that. Otherwise, we go overload and we get error. So always, whenever we are creating a loop, a for loop over the array, we need to use the array name dot length minus 1. Okay, and this is another example. So to print out only the even numbers. So let's go and do these examples in the code station. So we create an array, and we will only print out the numbers which are even. Let's head back to our code station. All right, so let's use the same, and I'm going to delete these, and I'm going to change this again back to numbers, and I will change them slightly to a couple of different values to make sure they are a mix of even and odd numbers. Okay, so this is my array, and I need to so let's create a problem statement. Print all the even numbers and odd numbers of this array with even or odd. So we want to print, is this number, whatever we have there, is it even or it's odd? So over this, now I need to check for each of these items, is it even or odd? So how do I access that? How do I read each of these items? So first thing first, I need to create a loop over this array. So let's create a loop. So, and I will use a for loop, because with the arrays, always try to use the for loop, because it's a count control loop, and we know always what is the length of the array, right? Using the length, we know exactly how many items in the array, so we go over that number. And so I will create a for loop for I equal to always start from 0. Starting from 0, because the array always starts from 0. From 0 to my array dot length minus 1. Okay, at the end I need to put the next I put it here because I may forget that. Now if I just print just my array, the particular item, my array inside the square bracket, okay, which item of the array, I will put I, because this is my variable, right, in the for loop. So it starts from 0, goes to all the number, the last number of the array. It just prints out the array. If I run this, look at this one, see, it started printing from 10, so it printed 10, then 21, all the way to 762, which is my last item of the array. If I add another number here, let's say 731, if I run this again, now it will print that one also. So this loop works whatever the length of my array is, it doesn't matter. So it starts from 0, goes all the way to what is the array of array.length? So it is 0, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So it is 7 minus 1, 6. So it starts from 0 all the way to 6. It prints all of these values. So print my array in square bracket I. I is my counter. That's how it works. Okay, now what do I need to do? I need to print if the number is even or odd. How do I do that? Now I have to get back to my to the lesson we discussed and learned about the arithmetic operation and the modulo, right? The MOD. So, and we know that if you want to find if a number is even, if you mod 2 that number and the result is 0, it means that the number is even. So I will create that one if statement, one condition. If my array I mod divided by 2 equal 0. So if I divide this whatever number I have here by 2 and the remainder is 0, okay, I will print number. What is the number? It's the my array I comma is even. Close. Okay, and I will, and if it is not even, it is odd, right? So the numbers are either odd or even, right? So I can do that, or I can make it like this. Let's make it better. So else if my array mod 2, if it is equal to 1, right? Let's make it proper. Then I will print that, hey, this number, whatever it is odd. And this is the end of my if. So I will close my if statement, and if, and I don't need this, right? So I will put a slash in the front, so this will not run. Slash is used for as a comment. So if you don't want to run, just have a line without doing anything, put a slash in the front. Okay, so let's run this now. So it says number 10 is even. Yes. 21 is odd. Yes. Number 5 is odd. 49 is odd. 900 is even. 762 is even. 731 is odd. Yeah, that works perfectly fine. So this is the way that you can access the array, right? And you can run a loop over the array. So whenever you need to do something with the item of the array, or sometimes the programs, the questions, they will ask you that get inputs from the user and store them inside the array. Okay, so in those cases also you need to create a loop over an array, and every time you have to ask the user to enter something, then store it inside the array, right? So in this one, for example, let's say let's make our program in this way. So with the array of 5, okay, I'm going to remove that. Okay, ask the user to enter 5 numbers, store them in an array, then print all the odd and even numbers. Okay, now to do this part of the program, this piece of code, this is going to print if it is odd or even for an array, right? But right now I don't have that array, right? This my array is what? It's not there, right? Because I deleted it, there is nothing there. So I need to create a loop for 5 numbers. Okay, so 5 times, the question is already telling you that 5 times, and I have created an array of the 5 items already. Now I need to create the loop. I need the loop to repeat it 5 times and ask the user to enter a number. Okay, so let's do that. So this is the array. So let's create a for loop again, and we can use any variable name. So I will use XX starting from 0, okay, because I'm going to start filling up the array. That's what I'm starting from 0. For XX equal to 0 to how many numbers? To 5 numbers, right? So now I have to be smart because I'm starting from 0. I'm starting from 0. I need to go up to 4, right? So because 5 numbers starting from 0, it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the last item is 4. So for xx from starting from 0 to 4, and I'm going to put my next xx before I forget that. Now here I need to ask the user to input, right? And I'm going to store that input inside where? Inside my array, right? Which position? The position xx, right? Because xx is my counter, is pointer to the array starting from 0. So xx is equal to, now here I'm playing with numbers and I need to get the input from the user. Input, please enter a number. Okay, now remember, whenever we use input by default it's stored as a string, right? And over here we are playing with these numbers as a number, right? Because we are doing arithmetic, mathematical operation, we are using mode, right? So we cannot use strings. So I have to convert that into an integer. And that's it. So this loop runs. It will ask you 5 times the for the number. And I can, yeah, that it will ask you 5 times for the number. And then once this is done, then it will do another loop over this array, right? So this loop here, this 3 lines, it will fill the array with whatever number we enter. And then this part of the program, this for loop, it just prints out. All right, so let's run the program and see how it works. So please enter a number. So I enter 89, then I enter 74, 59. I enter another 1, 2. How many we entered? 1, 2, 3, 4. This should be the last one. So I enter 721. So that is done. So after we entered 5 numbers, this for loop finished and it started from here. This loop started from here and it says 89 is odd, 74 is even, 59 is odd, 2 is even, and 721 is odd, exactly as what we expected. So this is you see that, you know, we are using 2 different loops for 2 different things. So we run one loop for capturing, getting inputs and filling up. We are filling the array here, we are filling it up. And then we have another loop to process the information in the array, right? And we could use one loop for doing all of these things together, but you know, this is how the program asks us to capture them, then print them separately. All right, so let's get back to our lesson and continue from there. Okay, so this was about the arrays, and so we discussed about the arrays, how to access each position of the array. We discussed about this length function of the array, which is giving you back the length of the number of the items in the array. And whenever we are going to list the numbers or do something with the array, processing each item of the array, we need to create a for loop. Starting from 0, remember, starting from 0, because the first item of the array always start from the position 0 to the length of the array minus 1. That's very important, length of the array minus 1. And to access that specific item of the array, you have to put the name of the array. So for example, here, this is num list. In square bracket, the name of that variable of the loop. So here we are using for I, I'm using I. This is also I, I'm using I. In the example I was using XX, I have to use num list in square bracket XX. So that is the fundamental of the arrays. These are called one-dimensional array. So it's one list, one array, just one list. In the next lesson, we are going to discuss about the two-dimensional arrays, and we will take it from there. All right, I will see you in the next lesson.